Hi, I'm John Paul from Power by Nature. Today we're going to look at some other devices that we can run off the solar panel and the battery. Now in the last video you might have noticed it was a bit of a failure, I guess. Kitchen devices tend to use quite a lot of wattage, which means that the inverter couldn't actually cope with it. So we've been looking around the house for some other devices, and obviously the sitting room devices, these here we have a TV, the BT Vision box, DVD player, Xbox and a Wii. So probably a little bit more than what most people would have, but essentially most people do have a TV and either like a Skybox or a BT box. So what we're going to do today is see if we can actually run these and do some calculations as well to see how long we can actually run it on this one leisure battery. Now, just for reminders, this is a 110 amp per hour battery. It's now on fully charged. I mean, it doesn't show up green there, but it generally doesn't. So what we've got, as always, is we have the extension, my extension cable, just so I can actually plug in two devices. Obviously the 2000 watt inverter, and obviously the battery. The solar panel which is in the kitchen is not obviously connected because it's just too far away. So what we'll do is very simply we'll just try and plug in a couple of devices and we'll see if we can run first off. So that's the TV plugged in. Let's move this back, and then BT Vision box. Now I don't know if you can see this properly, but the light has came on straight away, and see BBC's came on TV as well. So if we just turn this over to HDMI 1, which is actually the BT Vision box, it does actually take ages to load up, but the point is the light is on, the power's on, so they are both working. So at the moment we have the TV and the BT Vision running off just the battery power. You may be able to hear a slight buzzing noise. Now I'm finding this quite often with some of the larger devices. I'm still not 100% sure why we're getting the buzz noise. It's not actually coming from anything here, it's actually coming from the TV. So the TV is what's buzzing. No clue why, but that is something I'm going to have to investigate. If I was going to be running this permanently, there's no way I could sit here and listen to that buzzing in the background. So what we'll do is we're going to just turn these off for now. It does work. Now I've been doing some calculations which I've actually had to write down because there is quite a lot. Now to work out what will or how long something will run, what we need to do is take the watts divided by 12, which gives us the amps per hour, and then obviously divide the amps per hour from the battery, which is 110, by the amps that the TV produces, for example, which in theory gives us a running time. But there's a lot of variables and factors to sort of consider. I don't believe there's an exact formula which will work it out precisely because there's too many variables. Things like the temperature can affect the inverter, so obviously all these things have to be taken into account. But for example, a TV, or my TV here, is 150 watts. So if we divide it by 12, it's 12.5 amps per hour. Now to try and counteract some of these variables, what I'm doing is I'm rounding up or rounding down a lot of the time. So although the science is there, or the maths is there, it's not going to be 100% because of these factors. So what I've done is I've divided the 110 by 13, which gives me 8.46 hours of run time. Now, what they do say is the battery is never 100% charged. It's generally 80% charged no matter what. So what I've done is I've taken 80% of 8.46, which is 6.76 hours. Then the other problem is batteries should never be fully discharged. I think what I've read is around 50% is okay, but then from 50% it needs to be recharged. If you keep using the battery beyond the 50%, you're going to lessen the lifespan of the battery, which is then just more expense. So if we divide the 6.765 by 2, you get 3.38 hours. So basically 3.38 safe hours running the TV from this battery. Again, if I was doing the BT Vision box, which is only 34 watts, so obviously a lot less power, using all the same calculations as what I have done, you basically end up with 15 hours. Now, the 3.38 hours and the 15 hours is also not taking into account that you could have the solar panels connected up to the battery still, and it could be recharging through the day. So through the day, this is looking at, if everything's connected, then these figures are going to obviously rise. It won't be 15 hours, it could be 20 hours, for example, because you're constantly going to be putting some energy back in when the weather's okay, or just in daylight. Obviously come the night time is when you're going to completely drain it out. So those are a few things to keep in mind. If I was to run everything on here, I think by the calculations again, it came up to about 1.4 hours of run time. But obviously there's no way I'm ever going to use everything plugged in here. It's just pointless, and you can't do it. You can't play 2 consoles at once. So we can run, basically we can run things from the battery. Apart from the stupid noise the TV makes when it's plugged in, I believe, yeah, I mean the BT Vision box is fine, but it is a very small wattage. So I don't know if it's the size of the watt that's causing the TV to make a noise or something else, but that is something to investigate. Now, for example, if I wanted to run the BT Vision box or the TV permanently from this, then I would have to basically upgrade the system. And that would, I think I worked out around 400 amp hours would probably suffice in running the TV and the BT Vision box permanently. So what that would mean was basically another 3 batteries around the 100 amp mark. From there, those fully charged and then connected to the TV and the BT Vision box, the theory behind it is you'd never need to plug it into the mains. I did try and work out some savings, and I believe the savings would be around £70 a year, or that's on my current tariff anyway. Not a huge saving, but it is a saving nonetheless. And obviously if you do this for obviously a few years, you are eventually going to recoup that money that you've obviously spent to set the system up. So for now, I'm just going to carry on looking around. I have lots of computer equipment upstairs, so in the next one I'll probably see if I can run, or how long I can run the computer, or at least the monitors from this system as well. Okay, thank you.